My father refused to walk me down the aisle because sister was uncomfortable. I made him regret. I can't walk you down the aisle if it makes your sister uncomfortable, my dad said, his voice shaking as he avoided my eyes during our wedding rehearsal. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm 28 years old. The entire wedding party stood frozen, watching the father-daughter dance I'd dreamed of since childhood crumble in front of everyone. What he didn't know was that I just received news that would change everything about our family dynamic forever. I work as a pediatric nurse at the local children's hospital, and I'd been planning my dream wedding to my fiancé David for over a year. Every detail had been carefully chosen from the white roses to the string quartet, because this was supposed to be our perfect day. I'm the younger sister by 3 years, and my sister Jessica has always struggled with being the center of attention, even at other people's special moments. Growing up, I learned to make myself smaller to avoid Jessica's jealousy, stepping back from school plays, downplaying my grades, even choosing a different college so she wouldn't feel compared to me. But my wedding was supposed to be the one day that was truly mine, the one moment where I didn't have to shrink myself to make someone else comfortable. I wasn't the dramatic one in the family who demanded attention or threw tantrums when things didn't go my way, but I had something they didn't expect. A career achievement that would put everything in perspective. Drop your location in the comments. I read everyone. 3 days before my wedding, Jessica had a complete meltdown at the rehearsal dinner. The restaurant was beautifully decorated. Our families were mingling, and everything felt perfect until she cornered our parents by the dessert table. Why does Hannah get a big church wedding when I had to settle for City Hall? She sobbed, her voice carrying across the entire restaurant. David's family turned to stare. My bridesmaids stopped mid-con conversation. Even the wait staff paused to watch the drama unfold. Jessica, please, I whispered, trying to calm her down. This isn't about you. It's never about me, she wailed. Hannah always gets everything she wants. My father pulled me aside the next morning, his coffee getting cold as he delivered his ultimatum. Maybe we should tone things down, he said, not meeting my eyes. Your sister is really struggling with this, and family comes first. Tone what down, Dad? My wedding. She's been crying all night. Your mother's worried she might have another episode. At the wedding rehearsal that afternoon, Jessica made a scene about the processional order. She stood in the middle of the church aisle, arms crossed, refusing to move. I should walk before the maid of honor since I'm actual family, she declared to the wedding coordinator. Jessica, you're the matron of honor, I said gently. You walk right before me. But Sarah gets to walk alone, and I have to share the aisle with stupid flower girls. The priest cleared his throat uncomfortably. David's parents exchanged glances. My future mother-in-law looked mortified. That's when Dad dropped the bomb that shattered everything. Hannah, I've been thinking, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Maybe it would be best if I didn't walk you down the aisle tomorrow? The church went silent, except for the sound of my heart breaking. But what happened next would prove to be Jessica's biggest mistake yet. Jessica demanded that I change my wedding colors the next morning because they were too similar to ones she'd wanted for her own wedding that she never had. Blush pink was my color first, she said, rifling through my wedding favors like she owned them. I showed you that Pinterest board years ago. Jessica, you got married in jeans at City Hall, I reminded her. You said you didn't want a big wedding. I said I couldn't afford one. There's a difference. During our final family dinner before the wedding, Jessica announced to the entire table. I just don't understand why Hannah needs all this attention when she's always been the spoiled one. My grandmother nearly choked on her soup. My aunts and uncles shifted uncomfortably in their seats. David reached for my hand under the table, squeezing it tight. That's not fair, Jessica, my cousin Maria said. Hannah worked 2 jobs to pay for nursing school. Please, Jessica scoffed. She's always been Mom and Dad's favorite. Everything just comes easy to her. But the real betrayal came when I overheard my parents talking to my aunt in the kitchen. We gave Jessica $3,000 from Hannah's wedding fund, Mom was saying quietly. She needed it for therapy to deal with her feelings about not having a big wedding. My wedding fund Money I'd saved for 2 years working double shifts and skipping vacations had been given to Jessica to help her cope with my happiness. Instead of confronting them right then, I quietly made alternative arrangements. I called vendors, confirmed details, and decided to focus on the real reason for the celebration: marrying the love of my life. My cousins and extended family started taking sides. Some said I was being selfish for not postponing the wedding until Jessica felt better. Others defended my right to have the wedding I'd dreamed of and saved for. But none of them knew what I'd been hiding. What they didn't know was that I'd just been offered the head nurse position at the Children's Hospital, a promotion that came with national recognition. The hospital had chosen me over candidates with twice my experience because of my innovative patient care program that was being implemented nationwide. The promotion would double my salary and included a signing bonus that meant I could afford anything I wanted without family help. No more borrowed wedding funds. No more walking on eggshells to avoid upsetting Jessica. I'd also been documenting every instance of Jessica's manipulative behavior and my parents' favoritism through years of family events, every missed birthday acknowledgement, every holiday where I was expected to give up my plans for Jessica's comfort, every achievement that was downplayed so she wouldn't feel bad. The irony was that while they were worried about Jessica's feelings, they'd completely missed the biggest achievement of my career. David's father, Colonel Martinez, witnessed Jessica's behavior at the rehearsal and quietly pulled me aside afterwards. "Hannah, if your father won't walk you down the aisle, it would be my honor to do it," he said, his military bearings softening with genuine care. David's eyes filled with tears when I told him. "Dad's been wanting a daughter his whole life," he said. "You'd make him so proud." My parents grew more confident that they'd taught me a lesson about putting family first, expecting me to apologize and beg them to participate in my wedding. Colonel Martinez helped me plan a ceremony that would honor the real meaning of the day while showing my family what they'd chosen to miss. "A wedding is about building new family," he told me as we practiced walking down the aisle. "Sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the one we're born into." I overheard my mother tell Jessica the night before my wedding, "Don't worry, sweetheart. Hannah will come around and realize family is more important than some silly tradition." When Jessica showed up to my final dress fitting uninvited and criticized everything about my choice, demanding I pick something less attention-seeking, I knew I was done with their manipulation forever. I invited my parents and Jessica to my apartment the night before the wedding. They arrived expecting me to apologize and beg them to participate in my special day. Instead, I had 3 chairs set up in my living room and a folder on my coffee table. "Sit down," I said calmly. "We need to talk." "Hannah, we're so glad you've come to your senses," Mom began. "I have," I said, opening the folder. "But probably not in the way you think." I presented them with the hospital's press release about my promotion and the newspaper article featuring my patient care innovation program. "You chose Jessica's jealousy over supporting your daughter, who just became the youngest head nurse in the hospital's history," I said, spreading the documents across my dining table. Dad's face went white when he saw the headlines. "Hannah, we didn't know. You didn't know because you never asked." I cut him off. "You were too busy managing Jessica's feelings to notice I'd achieved something incredible." I showed them documentation of years of missed celebrations, sabotaged moments, and their pattern of prioritizing Jessica's emotions over mine. "This promotion comes with national recognition and a salary. That means I'll never need to ask this family for anything again," I continued. Jessica's mouth fell open. "But Hannah, tomorrow, Colonel Martinez will walk me down the aisle to celebrate love and family that actually supports each other," I said firmly. "You're welcome to watch from the audience, if you can manage not to make it about Jessica." Colonel Martinez walked me down the aisle with more pride than my own father had ever shown. Our wedding was featured in the hospital newsletter as a celebration of their newest department head, and every photo showed genuine joy instead of family drama. My parents sat in the back row watching as the entire hospital staff and David's family celebrated our achievement and love without a single moment of manipulation or jealousy. Jessica tried to cause a scene at the reception, loudly complaining about the seating arrangements, but security quietly escorted her out while I danced with my new father-in-law, who whispered, "You're the daughter I always wanted." The hospital CEO gave a speech about my innovative programs. My colleagues cheered when David and I cut the cake. Not one moment was overshadowed by someone else's insecurities. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. If you've ever had to prove your worth to those who doubted you, hit subscribe and tell me your story. Subscribe if you know the pain of being underestimated. This community listens. Your voice matters here, and your achievements deserve to be celebrated.